Gentlemen, and I know that the ladies are watching, we are here to celebrate the Jamaica Customs Agency's participation in International Men's Day 2024. And before we turn over to the venerable host, a new master, Mr. Dufton Shepherd, I'm going to give it to you every single time. Congratulations again, Duffy.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for joining us, and for all those who are watching on YouTube. We're expecting a riveted, spirited, and fruitful discussion about us, the life of men, and the celebration of International Men's Day 2024. Duffy, over to you.
Thank you, Matthew, of the land of hobbits. Yeah, we are friends. Thank you for that introduction once again. My name is Dufton Duffy Shepherd, as Matthew said earlier on, and I'm here to just guide a discussion with some of my friends, and I would dare to call them colleagues, because I was once a member of the Jamaica Customs Agency many years ago. And we'll be having a panel discussion surrounding leadership, mentorship, and overcoming personal and professional challenges as men. Now, I have an esteemed panel sitting in front of me. I don't know what all four of them look like. The teacher put them in the corner. I can relax in man. It's like a wife put in the naughty corner. To my immediate left, we have Mr. Warren Plummer. Mr. Plummer, good morning. Quick question.
Good morning.
What's your nickname?
Some of them call me Warro.
Warro.
Warro, yeah.
Okay.
And back in high school, they used to call me Forrest Gump. There's a story behind it.
So we will leave that right there. And we encourage comments, we encourage questions. If it is that you know the story behind Forrest Gump or you want to make up one, please feel free to send it over. To his immediate right, we have Lamar Whitaker. Good morning, Mr. Whitaker. How are you doing? Morning. Tell me a favorite memory from your from growing up.
Growing up, I would say on everything people tell you to do, you're supposed to do. Think about the consequences.
All right. That's I asked for a memory. You gave me a quote. That works.
Yeah, but it's a
That
memory, you
works.
know, because something happened in high school. All right, when I was in high school,
Mhm.
I burst a fart bomb.
All right, we'll stop that right there. Thank you. Of all the memories, you chose to hold on to that one.
I learned
Let it
something
go.
from it.
Let it go. Michael Harvey, how are you doing, sir? In your fully white shirt.
Not so bad. Morning.
All right. Tell me one thing that you'd encourage all men to do to celebrate International Men's Day.
Well, first of all, I think a lot of men nowadays, you're killing yourself at work. Take a day off, take a time out, take a little time for yourself, and focus on yourself.
So you're saying all men who are at work today, right now, should just take the rest of the day. Is that what you're saying, Mr.
Maybe not
Harvey?
simultaneously, but
Not all at once.
not all at once. Yeah.
All right, Mr. McPherson, Philip McPherson. How does it feel to be one of two gentlemen who has no hair on the panel?
I'm great, Yeah, great. I don't have to get up in the morning and actually, wash hair, comb.
So when you go to the barber, do you ask for a trim or a shave?
So actually I don't go to the barber. I actually do it myself.
You do it yourself?
Yeah.
And then the money that you save goes over to who? We know, don't ever say it is International Men's Day. All right, we have a quick activity just to get stuff going. There's a game called Never Have I Ever. I'm going to read a statement, and all the gentlemen, they can hold up their cards, their cue cards of sorts. If they have, they hold it up. So gentlemen, after three, if you have, could you hold it up? And if you have never done the thing, you turn around the other side. All right, so first statement. Never have I ever tried to fix something without reading the instructions first. Have. All right, unanimous vote. Quite. Never have I ever. So some of these statements is going to unearth the panel's ability to modify and maneuver the truth. Simply put, we can find it if they might tell lie. Never have I ever claimed to know more about a car than I actually do. Oh, you lie, so.
Not a huge car fan, so I never claim to know anything.
So you have never seen a young lady pull over the side of the road and you pull over to and go, it look like, You have never? But you know, what you switch.
Are we still talking about cars?
So that's why it's called CAR, car.
Okay, no.
You want to confess something? Please feel free. You're amongst friends.
We're not for use car, all right.
But you're okay. I guess you have lied about something else. Never have I ever forced my mustache or my beard to grow. And we'll start to the gentleman with my immediate right. I think that's a... Never have I ever played a sport just to get girls or to attract the opposites. We know exactly what you are going to say. Just hold up the I have. You haven't? Sports, any sport. Just to look impressive to the opposite sex. You have. You have. You haven't? Haven't? Never?
I'm naturally a sports person, so I don't
So just do it for your own.
do it for my own.
You know, a microphone would be good to use, so we can actually hear what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah, man. So I'm a sports lover, so I'm always participating in sports. I have never really used sports to attract
Right.
intentionally.
Let me pose a variation to that question. Have you ever done something extra while playing a sport just to get the adoration from her?
Yes,
mean,
yes.
It's from your voice go high pitch a while ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I have.
Mhm.
You know, you tend to do a little extra on the field if you notice that, you know, you have a little fun or you see somebody that, you know, you want to impress, you know, you're throwing two extra moves,
You're right.
you know.
Right. Shout out to your wife. What sport did you play to impress the ladies?
That was football. For a short time, you know, and not the best. So
No, from you say a short time, we kind of work that out.
So yeah, football.
Football. I just give up.
Not my thing.
Not your thing. All right. Never have I ever taken something apart and struggled to put it back together. You're guilty of that. And this is the next statement is something which is, I think, is an underlying issue with men, or an underlying characteristic of men. Never have I ever asked for help when I was truly struggling with something. So this is one of the things about men now. We sometimes find it hard to ask for help because we sometimes feel like it is a sign of weakness. It was hard for us hold up. Like when I said, I need to admit this to everybody. Yeah, sometimes we have to ask for help. Never have I ever had to overcome a major fear or insecurity in my life. Like the day when you realize you no longer have to go to the barber because hair is going to no longer be your friend.
I like to clear the hair. I actually have a little. All right, it's not totally.
Hold a second. Let me. All right. I don't swear that is. A couple more. Never have I ever doubted myself. Haven't. I think it's something that actually men go through on a daily basis. I think we actually walk in doubt once it is that you are trying to be a man, an example you always wonder if you're doing the right thing. Always wonder if it in a little area. Never have I ever, this is the final one, had to stand up for something I truly believed in despite the consequences. No, man, is either yes or no. You haven't. You have. All right. All right, let's get into the meat of the matter. We talk about leadership, mentorship, overcoming personal and professional challenges. I'm going to throw this question out. I just want 2 responses. What qualities do you believe define a strong and effective leader in today's Jamaica? And remember, this is from the perspective of a man. So you're either going to be speaking from your perspective as a man or leadership in terms of the leader is a male.
Well, let me speak from the leadership aspect of it, knowing that I've some amount of experience where that is concerned. For me, a leader, strong leader, is one that tends to be accountable, one that is, he communicates effectively, shows empathy, and you have to be brave because you have to stand on decisions that you make. That's it for me. That's basically.
All right. One more. Anybody else?
All right, so I agree with all of those. And of course, our next thing is you have to be willing to learn continuously because you may have, expertise in a certain subject area. Doesn't mean that that's race limited. You have to want to learn more, gain more, so you can help others and help yourself. Some persons think, okay, I know A, B, and C. That's it. I'm done. And anything new is a challenge to me, and I don't want that. And sometimes as men we can be a little bit stubborn in that sense. You have to be a bit willing to broaden your horizons and accept new information.
I think one important quality is managing your pride. Because as men, we are a proud species. Yet still, sometimes we have to put that pride aside in order for the good of everybody. And if in leadership, you can't put aside the pride, you can't put aside being the general manager or being the person who's in charge of this team in order for the team to be progressive and the goal to be accomplished, then that is going to be a serious issue. I don't know, that's kind of like my 3 cents. I don't know if anybody has anything that they want to add to that.
Well, I agree with you totally, because oftentimes some leaders tend to, believe that they know it all, and instead of asking for help, or feedback, and even if them get it, them actually feel offended, So managing your pride is very important as a leader.
As a man, how dare you go against what I have to say? I am the man.
I am the man.
I am the man.
Okay.
I'm going to throw something out there. Define a man. All 4 persons. 3 lines. If you were to define what a man is, how would you define that?
A man, 3 lines.
I said 3 lines just for you to keep it short.
Okay.
Because I see say you already forgot to open that textbook,
No. All right. As a man supposed to shoulder up to his responsibilities. A man supposed to have integrity. A man supposed to show commitment because as a man, a lot of men, we have families. And I am a firm believer, strong believer in family. So a man supposed to shoulder up to his responsibilities and take responsibilities for his action, regardless of whatever the outcome might be.
As a devoted family man.
That's right.
Well, you said 3 lines, but I'll give 3 words: egoistic, leader, and provide security.
All right. If we break down those 3 words.
Security. Men are known to lead from front. Therefore,
Here, here.
therefore, without saying, we are expected to stand up for what we know is right. So therefore, we'll be there at the forefront of anything. Where ego is concerned, it can be tricky. We have to learn to control the ego to a certain extent, but also the ego can pull us to where we want to go. You understand? And where leadership is concerned, men are born leaders. We are born leaders, so therefore it has to be something that is a characteristic of man.
All right. Mr. Reggae Boy.
So you have to have a strong resolve. That's definitely a feature of a man. You have to know how to, make a decision and stand by it, and look at everything on the outside and see if you can, you know, adjust it and be resolute and take responsibility, as you had said, as well as you have to be ethical, because I think it's something that's very out there that do this thing or do that thing to get a quicker result. And it's yeah, man, so just do that because you get results and you get what you want to get done, and that's it. Ethical behavior is really something you want to put on the forefront nowadays, because it's something that's even more challenging as time goes by, and there are other things on the outside that seem appealing.
All right.
I believe, well, I agree with all of the panelists, what they've said. I just add a sense of purpose. I believe a man, in my estimation, it, should be one of purpose. A man supposed to know, what he actually wants and have the ability, put himself in line to actually go out and get it. Not that anything illegal or anything, but but once a man set his mind, like focus on whatever goal he desire, well, outside of females, he should actually put himself in a position to actually achieve it. And that is where purpose comes from in terms of motivating yourself internally.
With those individual definitions, and collective outlook and viewpoints, there has been a change in popular culture that really affects the identity and how men are seen as leaders in Jamaica. Tell me, what's your take on this new outlook, popular culture, and how men are viewed as leaders? No, we didn't hear the term toxic masculinity.
Yes. I think a lot is put on men in general. And as such, as I spoke a while ago about purpose, I think them actually, come out the track, so to speak, and try to.
When I said them, who are you referring to?
Men.
Okay.
Men in general.
Uh-huh.
They come off the track, some persons, because of the pressure that they are on, the pressure to achieve some of the what they're trying to achieve is not forthcoming, and they try by other means. The culture, yes, the culture kind of impact on it, especially music and managalis. So some of the time men tend to move in the area of being gallus as opposed to being more productive within the workspace and try to achieve more.
But maybe his productivity is based on the amount of women he can attract.
Yes, that can be true, but it all depends on the profession. So if you're in a profession that being a gallus, I go try to bring in certain income by all means.
Oh.
But other times aspiring to being a gallus, sometimes kind of the real where you actually want to be.
The focus.
Yes, the
The
focus.
intention.
Yes.
All right. When you spoke of some of the areas where being a gallus could be monetarily advantageous, I was going to ask you to provide me a couple of instances, but I'm not sure exactly where that would lead, so I'm going to leave that alone. Same question I pose, because I would love to hear everybody's opinion on that. Popular culture is affecting and has a real long-lasting impact on how men are viewed and how we operate.
For me, I personally don't think there's so-called a popular culture anymore, because as it is, as you just said, a man being a gallus could be an earning to his family. A man playing
You know what
music.
happened? Yes, I'm going to go down that road. Tell me, how, in what respect can the man being a gallus?
Duffy, you know that already, man.
I know. You know.
Yeah,
The persons
but
on the
I'm just
live don't
saying,
know.
It's different now, especially with the vloggings. I mean, the set role to earn or to provide for your family, it's different. So the popular culture that we are used to of the typical man going to a 9 to 5, doing these stuff, it's different now. It's not the same thing anymore. Everybody has a different way of earning, and it's honest too. It's not like it's something
Now
illegal
tap the
they're
screen,
doing.
tap the screen.
It's honest. I mean,
Send me a lion.
exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not for that, but I mean, they're getting what they want out of what they're doing. So the popular culture, we have to move with time. Things cannot be the same back then as how it is now. To be honest.
Family man, do you think the man of yesterday is just as relevant to the man of today? How he's viewed, how he operates, and should there be any differentiation or adjustments? I want to say man of yesterday, I'm talking about maybe your father versus how you operate as a man now.
All right. So to me, the men of yesterday, what you find back in my time, a lot of men, they don't really grow up around the fathers. Fathers tend to just, they know that they're a father and they just move on. They don't play the fatherly role as how they ought to. So with today's men now, I think they try to, some of us, we try to stand up to our responsibilities. They try to be there for the children, because I didn't grow up with a father. So I look outside, I look otherwise for any sort of persons who can show me respect, show me how a child, a young man should grow. So I was bouncing about, I bounced about for a while. I had father figures, but when you desperately want a father, say, boy, that the man that I'm a father, I'm a one.
Have a relationship with
Yeah,
him.
you want to have a relationship. You want to say, boy, daddy, show me how fit, daddy, say the girl next door like me. Daddy, say the
I guess
virgin
that's
them,
on the way to being a gallus, right?
right? So with nowadays, I mean, fathers nowadays, I think you still have a lot of cases where fathers are missing. But nowadays, I mean, men nowadays, they try to live up to the role. They try to take on their responsibilities, be there for the children, because it's very important that men play an important role in their children's life, because that in itself will sort of, it propel the kids, it propel young men, because nowadays young men, they look for leadership. Wherever they see men, if you look a certain way, you talk a certain way, you have certain things that gravitate, how you communicate with them, they tend to gravitate towards you to kind of get information, get advice. So I think nowadays men were kind of trying to play a different role from men back then.
All right. How many fathers are on the panel? 1, 2. All right. So the one driver of the truck. Pam pam. Just messing around. when you hear of men of yesteryear and how they operated, and you being a young man now, what are some of the pros that you have infused in how you operate versus some of the things that you're saying, hey, I'm going to be different from that?
So right now, there's a lot more conversation around, the societal expectation, such as, okay, you're a man, so man not cry, and you're a man, so you have to go work every day at 9 to 5, and you have to drive yourself into the ground.
And that's nowadays or previous?
Well, that was previous.
The previous.
So
No,
yeah.
men cry.
Well, nowadays, you're able to actually, tap into certain emotions without being viewed as all right then. A girl, you understand me?
Yeah.
When
Tell us you cry.
well,
All right, never tell.
yeah. So tap it, don't necessarily cry, but at least you can express yourself a bit more freely. Maybe in the past, if you say, boy, I'm tired, I'm sad, and I'm on that, I'm tired, I'm tired. You understand me? So you should be a robot in those times, it would seem, based on media way ingest. But no, it's a case where men are viewed as more human and less robotic. So now you can actually take time to care for yourself and that way better care for your family. Because if you aren't taking care of yourself, how are you going to take care of anybody else?
So we're talking about leadership, mentorship, overcoming personal and professional challenges. These are individual topics, but I think they're all intertwined. Because if it is that you're operating in a space that you're a man, you are going to be viewed as a leader. And other persons are going to look to you for mentorship. Once you give advice, once you give some sort of guidance, you are providing some sort of leadership. And even with that, it goes across the different areas that are personal and also professional. And this is why I've been posing the questions, what is a man? How is the man of yesterday viewed versus the man of today? Because there are some advantages for both. When you talk about men being toxic, is that a fair assessment of the traits of manly men? No, I'm throwing that out. When you talk about toxic masculinity, it's not a term that has been coined by men, but it's something that we have to now adjust and live with. The term toxic masculinity in your understanding. And I say that Michael is ready to answer that one. Yeah, mama, see that twitch. Is it something that you see as negative, or there's some aspects of it that you think is positive?
I think the phrase is a bit abused sometimes because
you feel abused.
The phrase is abused.
Right. When women, the ones with the long braids that fall all the way down to the back of their knees, right?
When certain people, probably see a particular trait and just, okay, toxic masculinity. When in reality, some of these toxic traits are really just innate, For instance, you may say, for example, you're passionate about something, you may get a little bit loud and stuff like that.
Right.
So some persons may hear talking loud and be like, toxic man, right? Because he's talking low. Necessarily, no, you're passionate about something. You understand me? Let's say you want to be a leader, you want to lead a particular way, and this is the way you know how to lead. Because it may come off as strong, some persons may interpret it, incorrect. But then on the other end of the spectrum, no, you were talking about pride earlier, right? So if I'm a leader and I am wrong about something, but nobody can tell me, that's toxic masculinity. Because why can't you come and tell me?
Isn't that just toxic behavior and not necessarily toxic masculinity?
Well, it depends. I think they more link it to those behaviors that are more on the stronger side, while the females have a more nurturing side. So
that's some, because I can tell you right now, you are some women out there, you can't change them mind no matter what, Can I get an amen? Hallelujah. Mm-hmm. God is good.
So I think the phrase is more coined in, man-like behavior, which is, leading and assertive versus nurturing. You understand me?
I understand. Philip, I would say you're the elder statesman. And I admire that because you should have a wealth of knowledge and experience. Mm-hmm. When you talk about manly traits, in order for us to protect, because I don't think the rules have changed, to protect, to provide, to guide, aren't some of the traits that we need to exhibit aren't necessarily sometimes loved and accepted?
True. I believe that we as men are not totally appreciated by the female.
You want to say that again?
I believe that we as men are not totally appreciated.
Could you
by
raise
the
the
female.
glasses to that gentleman? I need for that to be reiterated.
Yes.
Say that once more.
I
Philip.
believe that we as men are not appreciated by the females.
Right.
I say that many a times men like us actually put certain things aside. Our goals, our personal goals. Because sometimes we love to, get a degree or you know the way there. And instead we actually put it in our other areas. Ensure that the females are, going to achieve. Know when females, some actually reach to a particular level and don't remember that it is a man that
That's what you
actually,
call a whole
you know,
can of worms in a man.
enable them to actually reach that level in the first place.
I see you kind of tiptoeing around it, Philip. Let's go straight to the issue. So you're saying sometimes men make sacrifices
Men make
in achieving their
sacrifices
goals
in achieving their goals.
decide to do what is necessary to provide for their family, which
Family.
includes your significant other,
Mhm.
in order for your family to be well taken care of.
True.
But when you provide that luxury or comfort,
Mhm.
it is not viewed as a sacrifice. It's something that, as a man, you have to do it.
Yes, it's your obligation. You're obligated to, and that is where the men feel aware. You feel rejected at times. Unlike Warren, I actually grew up with a father. My father grew me. I wasn't with a mother.
Right.
Yes. So there's a difference. I grew up in a way where I see my father, nurturing us as a man.
Right.
So I have that within me to actually go out and do that for my family.
Right.
All right. So kind of different in a some respect. I also see my father actually sacrificing for us, to go out and achieve education and all of that. So it's not just females.
Right.
Out,
It's for his family.
It's go out and actually. So when sometimes I hear when time like men are being put down, I can look on that because I was brought up in a different way. You understand? So right now I feel motivated just by him because he speak to mentorship. I was mentored by him. So that's my first mentorship. So I came up through the hills and the valley, so to speak,
Right.
navigating the street because of what my father did when I was a kid. All right. So
When you speak of mentorship, Lamar, I call your name, but when I call someone's name, I mean everybody can, throw their 2 cents in. Jamaican men, especially in this age of social media influence, cable TV, internet streaming, being exposed to other cultures outside of our own. How important is it for Jamaican boys or young men to be mentored by Jamaican men?
The first thing you said right there and then was culture. And in order to maintain the culture, we have to be mentored by our own in order to keep that culture. But one of the things we have to also understand is that Jamaican men on a whole, the culture is being diversified somewhat. As the more we learn, is the different choices, the beliefs tend to change. So therefore we grow our kids accordingly. And by mentoring an 18-year-old or a young boy, trust me, I don't believe that one person, I personally don't believe that one person should have one mentor. I think you should look at persons, take things from their personality or from their journey or path, hold on to it, look again, and build your own profile, and so you can become that person that you want to become. Because no man in my eyesight is a perfectionist. We all have faults. So we only can look and take the positive from each other and grow.
I love how you said that, and grow.
Can-
I don't know where you're throwing your words at Matthew, but okay, all right.
Yeah, I just like to add and agree to what my colleague is saying. And I think it is very, but extremely important for us as men to mentor other men, to mentor young men, to mentor boys, because
What about mentoring your peers? Does it
well, yes, that's
is
why I said
mentorship
men.
limited to persons who are younger than you? Or it can be your peers, your colleagues, someone who's your age, or probably somebody who just looks up to you, even though they may be older than you.
Well, yes. I mean, it's good when you can mentor men of your age, but that comes with a level of experience. You have to put yourself in a position where you'll be able to give advice, because you can't be a mentor to somebody and you don't know how to tell a person, you don't know how to guide the person. So mentorship in itself, it comes with experience. It comes with a certain level of guidance, because I'll just give a little quick scenario. I was speaking to a friend who was mentoring. He was mentor to some young boys at a school. And,
Gary.
pardon me?
No, I just threw a name out there.
Oh, okay. A prominent high school in St. Catherine, and it's a co-ed school. And
You want to give us another clue? Because people right now, once you said a prominent high school, people went, all right. They said co-ed, and somebody said, no, it's not KC. And they said St. Catherine.
St.
People that are
Catherine.
cool.
right.
Right.
So I'll go as far as to say it's in Portmore. Right,
Just call the school name
no
and done.
more. Right, and apparently a teacher caught a boy and a girl. They were having intercourse, and they got reprimanded and everything. And he said he was calling to mentor the young man. And he said while he was talking to the young man, and he might talk to him and he might discuss him and tell him, say, you can't do these things. You have to be careful, and talk to him about life, the birds and the bees. And the young man said, he was saying to the young man, you have to be careful. What if the young lady, what if she got pregnant or anything like that? And him said, no, man, me have it under control, man. Me give her the pee. So I must say the pee. So in his mind, he's thinking about pastinure. So, the man said, no, good man, she get the Panadol. Me give her 2. So I must say, Panadol. How Panadol come in? So based on
Yes, don't mention the high school.
right. So he was saying that, boy, you really have to go in. You have to try and mentor these young men, because a lot of them, they are misguided. I don't know how some of them get the information. Some of them, when they're among their peers, they discuss certain things. And you have to really guide them and guide them accordingly. You have to arm yourself with proper information so you can guide them, give them the right information to put them on the right path.
There is, when you talk about men and issues that affect men, and you talk about just leadership, mentorship, and the different avenues, there's so many things that we could talk about. 4 different minds, 4 different personalities. But you spoke about mentoring young men. A two-part question. Is mentorship solely verbal, or it has to also be physical, which means that you have to represent what it is that you're trying to impart, 1. And 2, are men handicapped by how we have been cultured to not talk out, we have to hold it. And because of that, we tend to not discuss openly and fully situations and issues with other men, because we be having a situation. I'm expressing a situation with Bridget over here, and I'm like, boy, dog, say things rough, and him say, you go and hold it. I mean, you want to go and hold it, man. And that's the extent of the conversation. I haven't expressed what is going on with me. He hasn't given me any sort of guidance, but that is our talking. So men, we tend to stay quiet. So two-part. Is it that mentorship has to be both verbal and physical because we need to represent? And also, are we handicapped based on how we've been cultured that we shouldn't talk or verbalize thoughts, feelings as much? All four, you can take whichever partner you want.
Well, all right. So I personally think that mentorship, it should be verbal means of communication and physical as well, because you want to be there. You're mentoring somebody, you want to be there in person, you want to express certain views, you want to talk to the person, you want them to understand, because sometimes you need to show them things, you need to express certain views. Sometimes you want to see if you connect with the person, because you don't want to be there, you call the virgin, you say certain things, you don't know. Sometimes you have to look in a person, you kind of give them eye contact to see if them really, how they focus. Because sometimes your mind might tend to be all over the place, and you're not really focused for, understand? So I think it's both verbal as well as you have to be there. So the other question, what was the other part again?
Anybody remember the second part? I remember, but you look like him just want to talk about the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So I try to just pass the ball to somebody else. I'm pass it. My ex-football.
I think the second part of the question was if we're handicapped as men by the way we don't communicate about our feelings
Right.
and things
Verbal,
like that.
right.
I would say yes, because when you don't have that outlet, it's gonna come out one way or the other. So it's gonna come out whether verbally. Some persons might, smoke. Some persons might drink, and that just leads to more problems on the line if you're still not talking about it. And then, of course, you have other ways for it to come out in terms of lashing out, because a lot of young men right now, they are, angry. Some are violent, and it could be because they're not discussing what's really bothering them. Because every time they try to talk about it, them say, "Yeah, man, just hold it." And that's where it ends. But as you said, no resolve, no conversation, no venting, no expression. So that's a problem that a lot of men have, especially where they don't have role models to teach them how to have a conversation.
Well, internationally, men are considered weak if them come out and express them feelings.
Talk, no, man.
Yes. Culturally, even worse. You're not seen as a man culturally.
Yeah, mama, man.
Yes, if you
Yeah,
come out a
sissy.
particular way.
Yeah, yeah.
So we kind of have a double-edged sword as it relates to we as men, especially Jamaicans, because we have that, our culture, kind of make it harder for we actually come out. But in certain spheres, men actually come out, but they have to have that look of bandness, the same mentorship thing. Yes.
Feel safe.
Feel safe.
Because men need to feel, women,
Yes.
men also need to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
When a man feels safe, trust me, you
get anything. Once the friend or the mentor now actually carrying business out because him still have the pride, him still have move with the pride.
Yeah.
At the same time, he want the help.
Yeah.
But sometimes he kind of push him in a corner and him actually say, yo, better get some help. And him actually confide with you. What means that sometimes in confiding in some persons, I'm actually carrying business out there. So it kind of
shut it. Yeah.
Make him shut down back again.
Right.
So we're kind of faced with a whole heap of challenges. And we as men, it kind of hard on us. Sometimes the females need to actually just, sometimes we go through a little thing.
Say it with your chest, man.
Yeah, man.
Afraid to say it.
Yeah, man. No want to pressure I think too much. You see me? Yeah. No want to pressure.
What do you mean the pressure I think too much?
Yeah,
This
man.
is exactly what I'm talking about. Nobody pressure I think too much. What do you mean?
The pressure, man. You see them I go through something. Nobody, try to push them down the ground instead of try to uplift them and
Like
support
how?
them.
Give me an example. Come on, speak
Actually,
clearly.
you know, yeah, try hard, yeah, sacrifice,
Right.
and make it look like you're not try. Yeah, man, I go shut down. Am I go lash out? Am I go become toxic?
Yeah.
As you put it.
Same
Yeah.
stop talk,
Same
all of a
stop-
sudden,
all
man.
of a
Gal,
sudden,
man.
yes,
Gal
yes,
road.
yes.
That's why you don't want to
Yeah,
talk to me.
Mhm.
But in truth and in fact, he was betrayed.
Yes.
And because of that, men were just going to just shut down and
down.
revert
Mhm.
to stage one. And then you wonder why
Why?
he's like this. So women, take note. A man who feels safe, just as how you want to feel safe, is going to be a very progressive man.
But Duffy, as I said earlier, sometimes you have different friends with different things. I have friends who I can talk to about money. I have a different friend I can talk to about a woman problem. So it's easy than to burden the one person with everything.
Could you please give this man a round of applause? He said a woman problem, which means that he's a cold stove.
No, man,
Right.
you have to do it different,
Represent, man.
You have
Right.
to do it
Quite
different,
so.
man.
Cheers.
Different, use different friends.
Right.
You know?
Also, that's how you do it. You break it down. Different friends
Yeah, man.
for different
stuff.
purposes.
Yeah, man. Because you don't want to burden that one person and I'll tell you something. That person will become tired of you because you're carrying. Remember, you have care problem, the same friend. Money problem, the same friend. The same friend, I go say, every day this man will come and tell me a problem them every day. You know?
Yeah.
So the one person, if you have like a financial problem, you can squeeze him and tell him this
Hey,
one have a,
hey,
you know?
hey.
No,
hey.
man, you know what we mean, man. Come
Hey.
on.
Yeah. You're going to say something.
Just to add what my colleague is saying, I mean, friends, you have to have friends for all season. You have to have lawyer friend, you have to have doctor friend, you have to have a friend who work at customs to find out certain things. You have to have a friend who work at passport office to find out certain things. So it's a friend for, you have to have a friend in every area where you can talk about.
You're a chain, I see that you're a chain, full of links. What lawyer friend, custom friend, tax office friend. But I do understand. I have a different belief. I believe if you're my friend, you're my friend. I don't think that you should be a friend for a reason or a season. If you're my friend, you're my friend. And it's okay to have few friends. But those few friends are the ones that you can go to fully and say, because persons I consider my friends, I can talk to them. While you were speaking, I was wondering what topic wouldn't I be able to talk to my friend about? For reason they must say, oh, say this. No. What I'm saying, seeking advice and talking to your friend is the same thing.
Yeah, man, but not all of them will give you one advice where
Then
you deemed.
then
Makes
maybe he's not
sense.
your friend.
No, your friend, but he's
Oh,
seeing
is
it
that
from
your
a
friend?
perspective. He's seen it from a different perspective.
Right.
So, and that kind of shadows everything.
You have to meet people where they are. So I wouldn't go to my friend who is for example, an accountant and tell him, "So boy, my car broke down, come let me fix it." Because that's not his expertise or his, field or.
But is that friendship though, or just utilization of skills?
Well,
Because if I'm having car problems, I can talk to my accountant friend about my car problems. He can't fix it, but maybe he can say call Philip. He can say call Matthew. He can say call Robbie. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, I agree with that part for sure. But I agree to an extent.
So if my friend who's a warder, you tell me says only time if I go to jail, me talk to you.
Well, on the dimension of having a problem, that's what we're talking about. So I do understand what you're saying, and I somewhat agree with that because I have a few friends that can go to them with anything, but then you have to be mindful. Suppose you have a 10 problem in a 1 week,
Right.
and your friend is going through something as well, and you're aware of that. You have to be mindful of their load as well,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. That is true. If I'm a friend and I know that I'm having an issue and I reach out to my friend, me no have no time I think about what I'm going to do. This time, we just want to talk about me, whether I deal with this, because I'm going to offer the same space. There's something going on with you. You call me and say, Duffy, you know what I mean, for reason about something. And I go say, boy, dog, we can't talk no because the car broke down. Okay, I'm sure I can say, okay, the car can stay for a minute. What's happening? Because what is also key about men, our window of opening up is very small and very limited. If we say we need to talk now, listen now. Not tomorrow or at your convenience, because when you're ready to listen, him no want to talk again. The window they close.
You know, what they say is true. As a friend, you're supposed to be able to have the capacity to actually, you know, another friend call you if you actually can support him. And that is what a friend is. It's different from associates, where you can call out the something like customs or peak or
Right.
or car problem. I have a friend who I can call anytime. Regardless of what he's going through, I can actually call him and have a chat. Likewise with me, I have a policy. I don't lock off my phone, you know, for nobody at all. So you can call me at any time and you'll get me. All right?
Yeah.
So because I know that a friend he needed is a friend indeed. When I want the support, and you're not getting it, you start grab at straws. When a straw pop, it'll broke loose. So I am always here to actually support a friend or any other friend, person for that matter. And I expect persons, well, to an extent, to actually give me that support too, also.
I definitely think we should have a part two. I'd be open to coming back and hosting a part two, because I think that this is a conversation that is ongoing, because there are so many different things. We don't have a lot of time. I have two topics or two different things I'd want us to address quickly before we wrap out. One, I would like to know how you guys deal with setbacks, how you deal with failures. As men, we tend to shut down. At times, we tend to self-sabotage, the smoking, the drinking, when you're dealing with the failures. What it is that each of you do, what do you employ? What are your practices that you use to move from a failure, a setback, and turn it into a bow that fires an arrow? Because in order for an arrow to go forward, it first has to go back.
Well, I would say two things, you know. You never stop trying, and you never try stopping. Because you have to just keep going.
What about if you come at a stoplight?
Well, you pause, you don't stop. I'm sure you end up going home same way, right?
Will I ticket?
But you know, don't have one plan, that's it. Don't have an ultimatum and that's just it. It or nothing.
So have options.
Have plan A, have plan B, have plan C, and keep going. Because if you set your mind to one thing and that doesn't happen, then what? You just give up.
What do you tell yourself though, literally? Plan A doesn't work, plan B doesn't work, plan C doesn't work. What it is that you tell yourself, Michael, in order to keep yourself going? Like, talk to us like you'd be talking to yourself. What would you say?
Something better is out there. That's why plan A didn't work, because plan B is better. And plan B didn't work because plan C is going to be better. And why is it going to be better? You're going to make it better.
Well, you're a good young man, you know. Some ladies right now are saying, whoa, look at Michael. And he's not a father yet. Whatever. I mean,
Well,
I would hear from everybody.
My thing kind of different. I navigate challenges in a different light. Yeah, I say actually I navigate this. Consider it a challenge.
Right.
Yes, but I actually look back into myself. I actually embrace failures. I see it as something that looking at what I am doing. If I'm doing something wrong, one could do better. So I really have a plan A or plan B. Because if I want to go over the wall, I will actually looking. If I can't go over the wall, I actually look at ways that can propel me over the wall. So it wouldn't be a plan A or plan B. It just look for me and say, if I need a stool, or a ladder, or somebody to actually support me over the wall. So when I consider it a plan A or plan B, I just look back into myself as what me can actually do better.
How do you move that time frame between the failure or the setback hitting you to the point where you said, all right, now let's move to seeing how I can adjust my plan? What do you do in that period that is sometimes dark, that is sometimes uncomfortable, that is sometimes hurtful?
Well, I mentioned earlier regarding sense of purpose. Now, you know your purpose. You know actually what you want to do. So while you're going forward, you're actually assessing while you're going forward. All right. If there's a little obstacle you can just step over. Yeah. So in your mind, you say, really smooth sailing. You understand? You actually have to look out for the obstacles as they comes. And as them come, you try to navigate. If you can't navigate, you actually step back, look back into what you're doing, and go again. Actually consider myself at times, a crocodile always move forward, never move backward. Regardless of the obstacle come across, always moving forward. So I'm relentless actually, anything that I do. All right. Some people might call it aggressive.
All right.
Or maybe toxic, but if I actually want something, I actually try to achieve it, regardless of the consequences or the obstacles in front of me. All right. So I wouldn't step back, turn and run away. Them say you have to be coward to be brave, and actually step over that hurdle. All right. More than one time.
All right, Mr. Philip Crocodile McPherson.
For me, when it comes to getting over setback, sometimes you alone cannot do it. And for me, I have a happy circle. And a happy circle, you have some people who believe in you more than how you believe in yourself.
Yes.
And those are the people who you try to reach out to push you to go that extra mile that you think you couldn't have done, or you failed at first. These are the people that pushes you, and really and truly, they makes it worthwhile to go again for me. And that's how I deal with setbacks on a whole.
For me, is failure to me is almost inevitable, because if you don't fail, you won't succeed. You don't know how to succeed. So to me, it's as if I embrace failure. I look towards failure because I know that success there's another way for success. So I normally, as what my colleagues say, I have a circle who I entrust. I put my trust in, and I always put my trust in my family. My wife, I've been married for over 20 years now. So
20 years no shot child.
And I have been through a lot of failures, right?
Just messing around.
From growing up, it's as if I'm failing, but somehow I always have persons in my corner. I always have persons to guide me. So I look to them for guidance. So whenever I make my mistakes, sometimes you have to be willing, you have to learn to admit your mistakes, right? If you don't accept it, you're not going to be able to move on. So I accept my mistakes, I learn from them, and I move on. And I always have the support. Once you have the support who can guide you and help you to correct your mistakes, it's all good.
I'm happy to hear that. I have a couple. One, if any setbacks or failures, I use a terminology. I use being kind to yourself. But that's a process. The first thing, vex, hurt, feel it, accept it. Cuss if you need for cuss. Take a moment. You understand what I say? Some people have a trip too. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you want to go, you want to go play some football for the footballers. You need to accept that you're feeling that emotion and express it, because if you keep it in, it stays in. You have to get it out. After that, that's where the moving forward. I pray. You have some people who read the Bible. You have to find that thing that grounds you, because in order to move forward, you need to find what grounds you. And once you find what grounds you, is it family, is it friend, is it you need to call a bridge in the accountant and say, hey, say, boy, I got you a little thing and I'm feeling this way and stuff like that. The original will say, yeah, say this, and that is how you get yourself grounded. And then you start moving forward. So how I move forward is that I look at whatever setback and I say, what is the worst case scenario? And if the worst case scenario, I can actually acclimatize myself mentally, emotionally to the worst case scenario, then everything else is a plus. So if it is that I can't pay the NHT payment this month, and it's going to stress me out, I'm like, what's the worst case? I lose the house.
Yeah.
Then what next? Then I have to go live with my mother. I know so my mother will take me in. That is my worst case scenario. So if it comes to that point, I'm no longer disappointed. And then I start moving forward. Maybe I can't make the entire payment, maybe I can make a piece of it.
Right.
And that is how you move forward. That is how I handle it.
Right.
Let's start with that out there.
In addition to that, first and foremost, you kind of have to seek God. You have to ask God for guidance. Because sometimes if you don't have God in your life and you really don't call upon him, it's as if you'll be lost. So and you hardly have men out there know who will say, boy, who you turn to God and ask God for guidance. But I mean just for Lord God, I wonder what I'm gonna do now. Lord, just to say it out, for saying it out sick. But read your Bible. Understand what the Bible is about. Understand what life is. God, you have to understand that God has a plan for each and every one of us. And we're bound to make mistake. And once you make mistake, you know, able to know, say, hey, probably that is not the part that God wanted for me, but it could be something else. So you have to turn to God at times.
Interesting note, we talk about the Bible. Rufus is a biblical name. Like Rufus is actually in the Bible, Yeah, Rufus. Like if you say Rufus is actually a biblical name. He was one of the persons who was very kind to Paul when he was incarcerated. Final point. It's potent. It may continue some discussions. We're in a space where our women, children, aren't as safe as they used to be. And I think as men, we are failing in that space to protect, to guide, to lead. Sometimes it's uncomfortably so where you have to do, because you have to lay down some rules to say, hey, I don't want you to go out with Sandra and Susie because they are going to be going there. I don't know what is going on there. And you have to say, what's up, watch me, this and that. Your kids, especially, well, I can say both young girls and boys, there are so many things happening to them. I would like for each of you to give me 2 steps that we as men, as Jamaican men, can take to ensure that the ones that we are to protect, that are part of our kingdom, because we're all kings. 2 steps that we can take for them to be safer now, especially in these times. I feel like I'm going one question. No, like, my God, don't forget to ask me that question. I'm going to study feet.
I mean,
two things each.
I mean, it's something that you have to think about. For me, I give you one thing that I think men are very much poor in this way, communicating effectively, rather. So by the times the persons in our circle, they're going through so much, I want to let go of some of the burden onto us, so we have an understanding, but yet still, because we don't communicate as how I wouldn't want to. Yeah, basically, men are supposed to communicate. We lose track, and that's why they go outside and they communicate with others, and that is what create the insecurity, the unsafe zones, because of the lack of effective communication within the household, within the work family. I think that's one of our downfalls, communicating effectively.
All right, so you just have one. All right.
Um, for me, men are supposed to be providers. So, in that capacity, I think men should we lead from the front. You provide a home for your family. Not saying is you alone must go out now and you buy the house and everything. But I mean, if you can, you should, because we are providers. We lead from the front. You make provision for your family. Once you make that provision, I think you should stick around. You stick around to ensure that your family grow. You provide mentorship to your children. You provide mentorship to your son. So providing and just being there, I think those are the two things that I think.
Providing and being present.
And being present.
All right.
Well, one comes to mind, and that is having a sense of community. So just as how you be present in your household and you want the best for your children, your wife, your daughter, you want to ensure that the community you're
You want
looking
to
out for,
extend it outside of just your house.
to the entire community. So your neighbor daughter, she's been coming home late, and you express, hey, what's going on there? Yes, your neighbor's son, they might go to the game shop down there, so where them drink and smoke or whatever.
Run him go by me.
Yeah, so them where are there so right now? You don't have school tomorrow. They want to play a ball on a school night, 11 p.m. You don't have nothing to study for, that type of thing. You have exams too. Be a ward in your community, and that'll go a far way.
Jeez, Sam, you're the one speaking like a father to me.
For me, having a conversation as opposed to dictating. Sometimes kids tend to be, like you're bombarding them with all kind of stuff in terms of what you want, as opposed to what them want. We move from out of the ages where we dictate to the kids as to what them do. Them tend to say them have rights, and them have, they can't make their own choices.
Them have rights. We have rights and lefts.
And all them things there. So having a conversation, try to establish what they actually want. See how best, and mentorship come up again. Or basically actually mentor them into a space where them feel like something them actually want to do. Motivate them in a sense. So conversation can lead to them being self-aware of whatever them actually, are embark on. So conversation overall, for me, is most important.
My two that I want to throw in the bowl. First and foremost, be more vocal. As men, a lot of who we are, what we do, what we should be doing, is not being defined by us. It is being defined by the other sex. So that men should be this way. Men should do this. Men should do this. And that's happening because as men, we are not speaking up. There's no way a woman should be telling you what a man should be. So we need to share more. And I'm not saying go toe to toe, but be more vocal in the spaces. Be more vocal to your friends. Be more vocal to women. Be more vocal to the generation after us. Be more vocal, because I think we have become way too silent. And second thing is that I believe that as a man, accept who you are. Your pros, your cons, because once you accept who you are, you will be able to stand for something. And what is needed in this time is the root, the anchor. Women, and I'm throwing it out there, women like an anchor, women like a strong man, not physically, but strength of self. When she knows that that's what you're about, when your kids know that what you're about, when your neighbors, when your peers know that you're about, that is when you're a strong man. But it starts with you. So, as I said, my two things: one, strength of self to define, and also more vocal. Do we have any questions that, or any potent comments that were thrown out on the live? None? Okay, all right. So we've been here for a little over an hour. There are tons of other things that we could be. What about the culture of respect from Dion Curry? The culture of respect. Could you be a little bit more? Could you expound a little bit on that question? Culture of respect between men, culture of respect between men and women, culture of respect in terms of how we operate in a general space, how men contribute to the culture of respect. What do you mean? Because it's a very wide question. And while she's coining that, 15 seconds. Any final statements, gentlemen? Any final thoughts? No? Everybody quiet now. Everybody's waiting. Are you mic'd? Or are you on to borrow? Yeah.
I think it's pertinent to that last point that you made, and it comes back to something that Warren said, which I disagree with. He spoke about the role of a man being a provider. He must provide a home. You can always provide a house as a man.
Right.
You'll never make it a home.
Right.
It will take two. So you can provide the house.
Right.
And then the person that you partner with, your woman, create hell. It will never be a home.
Understanding your role.
Right.
So
So we are putting ourselves as men into specific stereotypes that, as you said, other persons, the women, are creating for us and saying, this is what we must be. This is what we must do. To them.
Yes.
Not to what we must be for ourselves to be better. Because we're only better if we are better to them. So even today on International Men's Day, a lot of the talk has been about how can we be better for everybody else around us?
Instead of
how can we be better
for us,
for ourselves? So the burden and the psychology behind it will always weigh us down because we really never think about ourselves in the situation. It's we need to provide this for that person there. We need to do this so that person can feel better. We need to do this to validate myself in the eyes of that person. And never am I being valued for myself in my... I mean, a friend of mine asked me, when last you do something for yourself? Something that was only you benefiting from as a man. Only you are going to smile when you do it.
And we have been cultured that if we do something for ourselves, we are selfish.
Selfish.
We're cheating somebody else. We should be.
But when a woman put on her wig, she dress up for herself.
Matthew,
she put on her makeup for herself. She look good for herself.
Sport here. Leave the wig alone.
I don't want the beard oil.
Okay. I'm sorry. Your wig the beard. All right.
It's today is the day that we should be thinking about what am I doing to make, because you see, if you're not happy, making other people happy is going to be temporary. You must find a way to create misery for them.
We definitely need to have a part two, because we're talking about if you're not happy, how many men can genuinely say that they are happy? Not happy because I am doing stuff for, I'm a good father, I'm a good husband, I'm happy because these things, but are you happy? That's one point that I think we can write down. No, we're not take it on now. I'm saying we're going to have this, we need to have this again. And I said, I'll make myself available, and I'd love for the same panel to come back, you understand? And then maybe we'll have some good news to celebrate. That's peer pressure here. I'm just messing with you. And a second topic, and this is very, very potent, and oftentimes I've heard this start arguments. Men are digital signals. We're constant. That is how we operate. We're logical. Problem, solution. That is how we think of things. Women are emotional creatures. And because of that, they are analog signals. They'll feel a way about something today and feel totally different about it tomorrow. Where do you as a man draw that line where you are going to be the digital, and no matter how she's operating, you're like, no, you go be like that. When you come back, I'm right here. We need to have these discussions once more. Dion, I think maybe you'd have to reach out to us, maybe outside of, for us to adjust that, because I would love to hear what your thought process was. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in once again. Warren Plummer, thank you, sir. Lamar Whitaker, Michael Harvey, and of course, Philip Crocodile McPherson. My name is Dufton Duffy Shepherd. Thank you for tuning in to our panel discussion where we spoke about leadership, mentorship, overcoming personal and professional challenges, and just a whole bunch of other things. Happy International Men's Day to all the men out there, and I applaud the women. Support, show appreciation to the men that are in your life. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Your practice, man.